everybody. It's your girl Chanel here. What it do? How you doing? So today is Monday. Yay! It's cold out here, but the sun is shining, so we're gonna make it a good day. So I want to do my morning affirmations. I'm gonna do that after this because I should have did them before I got in this truck, but whatever. As long as I do them right. So I want to do some storytelling because you guys know that I'm dating, right? So because I am dating, I got some interesting stories to tell. Because there's a lot of broken men out here. There's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Men that have unresolved issues with their exes and that like to make, you know, the new person deal with all of their baggage that they haven't healed from and they have not unpacked. So I got some interesting stories. So I think this series is gonna be called Storytelling Time, or I would say Dating in Atlanta, but that title has been done a million times. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it Storytelling Time. So I have so many stories to tell, but I think I'm gonna go with let's go with the guy that tricked me and tried to get him some on the sly. Okay, so this guy, I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna use his real name because people may know who he is, so I'm gonna use a fake name. His name is going to be Harry. Okay, and Harry started off the way I started talking to Harry was I kept having bad experiences on the dating site. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna try somebody that looks a little bit more mature, someone that I normally wouldn't be like, you know, I'm gonna go for him. So I decided to try to date an older guy. And I mean like much older, like 10 years plus older. I think he was 51. Yeah, 51, 52. And yeah, so he wasn't bad looking. He just wasn't what I would normally go for. And but I could see myself, you know, it's not like he was butt ugly where I can see myself giving him a kiss or anything like that. Like if you can't imagine yourself kissing that person, you probably should not be dating this person. So anyways, Harry was we met at a Bahama Breeze, I think that's what the little restaurant's called, and everything was fine. It went pretty good. We had lots of conversation. There was never a moment where it was just silent. You know, the laughs, the drinks, the food, everything was good. So we decided to go out again. It wasn't right away, I will add. It was maybe like a week later. Yeah, and I'm saying a week, it might have been like 10 days later, because he had a period where he claimed he was afraid of me because he was on the phone with me one night and we were talking and he said, oh, I gotta go, this is my mom calling. I think he said my mom or my daughter calling. He says my daughter calling. And I said, oh, okay. And I got off the phone with him and I got a notification from the app. So I look, he's online, you guys. I'm like, this dude online. But you know, I didn't really care about it too much because I was just like, that's what we're on here for. It's a dating app, you know. So it didn't really matter, but I made a joke anyways because I'm who I am. And I sent him a message. Oh wow, look at this traffic. I sent him a message and I was like, I see you online or something like that. I can't remember because it's been a while. But I said something to the effect of, I see you online, you know. And it was funny. And he replies back that that's scary that I commented on the fact that I saw him online. And I said, well, you better run for the hills. But anyway, so he kind of, you know, didn't really fun. And the second date was actually really nice. He took me to this restaurant where it's like a Korean grill house or something like that, where you can cook your food at the table. And I'm not talking about hibachi where you have the chef sitting around in the middle of everybody. No, this is your own individual booth with your own table, and you cook. What's wrong with you? What are you getting over here for? Y'all, Atlanta drivers they're horrible. And I would say that they've always been like this, but they haven't. And I think it's because a lot of out-of-towners come and they don't know where they're going, and they're just all over the place, like this person in front of me. But anyway, so back to my story. So we went to this restaurant. It was really, we had a really fun time. I was cooking. Of course, I'm vegan, so I grilled me some vegetables and fruit and still enjoyed myself. And I cooked his chicken and steak or whatever he had. I think he had chicken and pork. Yeah. So while we were at the table, he's talking about, have I ever had a one-night stand? And I'm like, no. And he's like, I was like, no, I'm not a one-night stand type of person. And he's like, well, just because you have a one-night stand don't mean you are one. Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. But besides that, we ended up afterwards walking. It was a plaza, so we ended up walking over to the ice cream place shop, Brewster's, and I got me some non-dairy ice cream, and he got him some ice cream, and we sat and we talked, and the conversation was good. And he ended up giving me a kiss, which was nice, not too much. It was a good kiss. So I was like, you know what, I can kind of see myself kind of dealing with him. I liked him. And while we were sitting down talking, eating our ice cream, having a great conversation, this dude's phone goes off, and there's a picture of this woman, and everything pops up. And I'm like, you're gonna get that? And he's like, nah. I was like, why not? And he said, because she's too conservative for me. And I was like, so you're just gonna blow her off like that? And he's like, no, he was like, yeah. And I'm like, dang, that's myself. You can answer it if you want. He's like, no. So, other than that, I didn't pay no attention after that. The night ended really well. Everything was fine. Fast forwarded, it was around my birthday. I went to JG. He wanted to come. He met me there. And we had a good time. He was really touchy-feely at JG. But he had to leave early, which I'm glad, because he was starting to get on my nerves with the whole touchy-feely stuff. And when he left, he told me that he was going to like some charity gala or something like that for the homeless, and he would call me around 11. He said it should be over around 11 or something. So I was like, okay, that's fine, and I stayed at JG a little longer and got me a body scrub, and just really enjoyed myself. So he never called me, you guys. So I was like, I'll call him the next day. I called him, and he answered the phone and was like, oh, I'm with my niece and my son. And I'm like, okay. He said, I'll call you back. All right, okay. He never calls back, you guys. 5 days go by, nothing. I'm like, okay. So I sent him a message, and I said, hey, because I've been texting him and calling, but not getting him. And so I texted him. I said, hey, it was nice meeting you. I said, it was nice meeting you. I guess it's safe to say you're no longer interested, but I had a good time anyways. Peace. Left it at that. And I was done. I deleted his messages and everything out of my phone. I was done. Because I feel like if you can go a whole day or two without talking to me, obviously your attention is elsewhere, and I'm definitely not a priority or on your mind, So I was done with it. But then he hits me up the next day after I sent that, I think, and was like, what are you talking about, or something like that. And I'm like, what you think I'm talking about? I was like, it's obvious that you're preoccupied with something else, and that's fine. Long story short, he asked me to meet up with him at a restaurant that his buddy just became the manager of. And I said, okay, fine. What's the address? I'll meet you, because you got some explaining to do, sir. My exact words. And I got cute as hell, you guys. I put on like a dress I know was banging, showing all the curves in the right places, if you know what I mean. Put my heels on, had my makeup done. I was looking like a snack or a whole meal one. So long story short, I get to the address that he gives me, and it's a freaking hotel. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. So I call him. I'm like, hey, the address you gave me, I ended up at a hotel. Like, did you like give me the wrong address or something? He's like, oh no, I'm coming up. I'm be right out front in just a second. I'm like, dude, this is a hotel. You told me a restaurant. He was like, oh, it's a restaurant connected to the hotel. And I'm like, okay. First thing in my mind was, I hope you don't try to think that I'm about to sleep with him. Like, he got me effed up. So I played it off, you know, get to the hotel. It's like a Marriott. It's a really nice looking hotel. And they had like a soccer team or something like that, or baseball team, softball team or something there. So it was a lot of people walking around. A lot of teenagers and families and things like that there. And so he took me to the restaurant. He introduced me to his friend who's the manager, and they pulled out the red carpet for me. I ain't gonna lie. He ordered a bottle of wine, even though it was cheap wine. It was still the thought that count. And they changed the menu for me because of my dietary restrictions. I'm vegan. They didn't have anything on there for me that I could eat without having, you know, they had stuff that had like cheese in it or eggs or milk or something. So he kind of like changed things up for me so that I could enjoy the food. The food wasn't that good, but you know, I didn't complain. It was the thought that counts, right? So once we were done eating, and we were watching the football game at the same time. So once we were done eating, he was like, let's walk around the hotel. And, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, I almost forgot. I do this often. While we were at the table and we were talking, and I was asking him, so, you know, what happened to you? You just kind of disappeared on me for like days. And at this point, it had been a full like 8 days by then. And he's explaining to me that his family was in a tropical storm in Louisiana, and his ex got misplaced, like I guess her house flooded or whatever, and she had to move in with his daughter, and the daughter and her do not get along with each other. So he ended up, you know, being caught in the middle of whatever they had going on. And he said if his daughter's unhappy, he's unhappy, and he's, you know, he was stressed out about that. And I was like, they're both in New Orleans? And he's like, yeah, they're both in Louisiana. And I'm like, okay, well, in my head, I'm thinking, this story is a bunch of crock. That's why you couldn't call me, like, or pick up the phone. Like, that sounds like you're lying. But, you know, I just let him say what he had to say. And I said, well, you know, if we're friends, you can call me when you're going through some things. That's what friends are for, you know, to help you get through the tough times, you know, as well as enjoying them and having fun and things like that. And he was just like, well, you just need to accept me for who I am. This is who I am. This is how I handle things. Okay, no problem. And he grabbed my hands because I think he could see in my face that I was just like, oh, this is so over. But I just was like, okay. And I was telling myself I'm gonna enjoy this food and this ambiance, and after this I'm done with this dude. That's what I was telling myself in my head. I was like, because you're not finna act like that with me. You know, that was a red flag. You just gotta accept this is just who I am. And he said it with like a nasty little attitude, you know. So he grabbed my hands from across the table, and he starts, you know, trying to like sweet talk me or whatever. And I'm like, your hands are rough. I can tell you used to do some manual labor. And he said, yeah. He's like, you got some lotion? I'm like, yeah. So I pull out my lotion out of my purse, and I put some on his hands and start massaging his hands. He's like, oh man, you're good at this. Are you a massage therapist? I said, no, but I've been told I can, you know, I have no complaints when I've given massages before. I've been told I'm pretty decent at it. And he's like, well, shoot, how can I book an appointment? I was like, I make house calls, you know, just bullshit and talking, you know, I didn't think nothing of it. So, you know, he was just like, oh, okay, I really need it, so I'm really gonna take you up on that. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So afterwards, we walk around the hotel, go to the pool area, we look at the gift shop, we just walking around, and then we get on, he pulls me onto the elevator, and I'm like, where are we going? And it's one of those elevators where it's like glass, and you can see everything, the whole lobby and everything. It was really pretty. And we go up to the top floor, and we get off, and he starts walking, and I'm like, okay, I guess he just wants to walk around some more. So he gets to a door and sticks a key in the door. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not going in there. And he's like, I just want to get a massage. I'm like, oh, hell no. I was like, I'm not doing this. He was like, look, it wasn't planned. I just asked my buddy if he knew anywhere I could get a massage, and he gave me this card. I'm like thinking to myself, you was with me the whole damn time. When did you have time to do that? So I knew he was lying, but I just played it off, whatever, you know. And I was like, I'm not doing this. He was like, come on, you always, you know, put negative thoughts into the situation. You know, that was his thing. Even at the last date, you know, he said, I'm always coming up to the conclusion of how the night's gonna go in my head before it even happens. And I'm like, yeah, because I know I'm not about to have sex with you. So he's like, come on, I promise, I just want a massage. I'm not gonna try nothing. I'm like, okay, cool, fine, I'll do it. Come in the room. I can clearly see somebody been in this room already, y'all. The soap dish, the soap had been opened. The wrapper was in the trash, and there was a little piece of tissue in the trash, and there's sprinkles of water in the sink, and you can see a butt print on the bed. So I'm like, okay, I can tell he had this planned. This ain't no spur of the moment crap. He just think he think I'm stupid, but he full of shit. So I give him a massage or whatever, and he's like, oh man, you almost put me to sleep. And I'm like, uh-huh. He's like, girl, that was good. And I'm like, yep. I was like, all right, well, you know, like, ready to go. This is it. And he's like, you ain't gotta go right now. You can finish watching the game, because we did have the TV going or whatever. And I'm like, I guess I can sit for a minute and finish watching the game or whatever. So he sits back next to me, and then he kind of starts, you know, kissing me, and I'm like, okay, here we go. So he's giving me a kiss or whatever, and he's getting a little hot and bothered. Keep in mind, this dude, I just gave him a massage. He did take his shirt off during the massage, you know, and so he's like all into the kissing, and I'm like, okay, chill out. And I look, when I come back up for air, because he, you know, he getting a little hot and heavy here. I come back up for air. This dude done some kind of way pulled his dick out, you guys, and was trying to slide my legs open with his knee. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not ready for that. I told you that. I'm not ready for this, you know? And he's like, well, I said, and you ain't got no condom on? You trying to do that? Like, what is wrong with you? He was like, I can call the front desk and they'll give me a condom. I'm like, they don't do that at hotels. What is wrong with you? And so I'm like, this dude is really tripping. He's like, I could just call the front desk. It ain't no big deal. If I call the front desk and they got condoms, will you be in the mood then? And I'm like, no. I told you that I only came in here with you to give you this massage that you begged me for. And so then he was just, I guess he got mad at that. And then he goes, why'd you let things get this far? I said, you know what? You're right. I got my ass up, put my shoes back on, grabbed my key, my purse, and got the hell up out of there. And it was as if God wanted me to get out of there just as bad as I wanted to get out of there, because the elevator was right there. I didn't have to wait on it to come all the way up to the top floor. It was right there when I pushed the button. I got on and got the hell on. And he called me afterwards and was trying to tell me that I misunderstood him and this, that, and the third. But I just was like, whatever, you know. That was it for me. I never heard from him again. But as you can see, that those are the type of things that you come across in dating, on dating sites. You know, he really tried me. Like, dude, you don't even know me that well. He didn't even know my full name. It's just crazy. So, anyways, you guys, that's my storytelling moment. If you got any crazy stories you want to tell about dating, please let me know. I'm sure they're just as interesting or even more interesting than mine. like this story. It's Monday. Go to work. Do whatever you do on Monday. Stay positive. Say your morning affirmations. And treat others as you want to be treated. It's just your girl Chanel. Peace out. Like my video, share, and comment.